What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Nick here, and today I'll be doing another edition of This Week in WWE. So this week in WWE has been pretty chaotic, pretty disturbing, if you can say that. And yeah. So basically the whole thing started this past Sunday at PayBack, where Chris Jericho went one-on-one with Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. Now, here was the caveat. If Jericho won, not only would he become a two-time United States champion, but he would also go to SmackDown Live. And yes, Jericho did make Kevin Owens tap out to the walls of Jericho. Yeah, and he became a two-time United States champion, and then we crowned a new Raw Women's Champion in Alexa Bliss, making her the only superstar in history to hold both the SmackDown Women's Championship and the Raw Women's Championship. And then of course we had a classic tag team match, if you will, as the Hardys defended the Raw Tag Team Championship against Sheamus and Cesaro. And of course, after the match, show of respect from Sheamus and Cesaro as they shook the Hardys' hands, and raised their hands in victory. And then when the Hardys had their back turned, Sheamus and Cesaro just went off. So now it is official. Yes, Sheamus and Cesaro are now heels. But for Sheamus, I kind of understand Sheamus being a heel. You know, Sheamus was always a heel for the last couple of years. But for Cesaro, really, are you serious? He was one of the WWE's favorite. He was one of the top favorites in the WWE universe for what 3 years, and now this? Are you serious? Really? Why? And then of course we had two huge main events. Actually, no, sorry, 3 huge main events. One was Randy Orton against Bray Wyatt in the House of Horrors match. Now of course the match was made before the Superstar shakeup. So unfortunately, the WWE Championship was not on the line. But Bray Wyatt did pick up a victory, thanks to Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers, or the Bollywood Boys, if you watched the Cruiserweight Classic over the summer. And then of course we had Seth Rollins against Samoa Joe, and Seth Rollins with a huge victory over Samoa Joe. So congrats to the Kingslayer. And then of course Roman Reigns against Braun Strowman in a hellacious match. Now of course, sorry, I can't even speak. Of course, a lot of people believe that Roman Reigns came back too early, and the truth of the matter is that yes, he did come back too early because he lost. And then after the match, Braun Strowman just kept attacking him with the steel steps, and all the fans were chanting, "You deserve it," which is highly explainable because Roman Reigns defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania. So yes, Roman Reigns did kind of deserve it. But yeah, and then on Raw Talk after PayBack, Roman Reigns was about to go into the ambulance, but Braun Strowman just yelled out, "I'm not finished with you," and then charged into Roman Reigns, but charged to the back of the ambulance door, and then he just kept attacking and then Roman Reigns just kept attacking Braun Strowman with the other door, and unfortunately Braun Strowman had injured his rotator cuff on his shoulder, and Roman Reigns had re-injured his ribs. So both men are going to be out for the latter part of at least a couple of weeks, maybe a month, who knows. And then of course the next night on Raw, Sheamus and Cesaro had explained why they did what they did, and it was just, and of course it was just out of frustration, you know, Cesaro had the holes, had the Cesaro section, and Sheamus was a believer, literally. He was a believer, but it all ended at WrestleMania when the Hardys had returned. So supposedly Sheamus and Cesaro were gonna win back the Raw Tag Team Championship, but of course the Hardys got involved. And then of course there was a coronation of the Raw Women's Championship. So Alexa Bliss just kept talking smack, just talk, no pun intended. And just kept talking about Bayley, and Bayley just could not take it anymore. Honestly, I don't blame her. To be honest, I don't really blame Bayley for acting that way. But I mean, it's pretty safe to say that Bayley wants her championship back. And so after that, we had a impromptu 8-woman tag team match between Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Emma, and Alexa Bliss against Sasha Banks, Bayley, Dana Brooke, and Mickie James. Of course, Alexa Bliss' team won the match, but still, but again, Bayley has nothing to be ashamed of with her match at Payback. And then of course we had a triple threat match to determine the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship, as Seth Rollins took on Finn Balor and The Miz, and Samoa Joe. Both Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt got involved. Samoa Joe hit Seth Rollins with the Uranagi and told Seth Rollins that he wasn't finished with him. And then Bray Wyatt attacked Finn Balor as Finn Balor was about to hit the coup de grace on The Miz, but Bray Wyatt came in, pushed Finn Balor off the top rope, and hit Sister Abigail on Finn Balor. That allowed The Miz to capitalize and become the new number one contender to face Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. My guess is that it'll probably take place at Extreme Rules, and Kurt Angle might allow Dean Ambrose to name any stipulation he wants. And knowing Dean Ambrose, well, anything can happen. So yeah, a lot of craziness happened on Raw, but even more so on SmackDown Live when Jericho first arrived on SmackDown Live, and there was a rematch for the United States Championship as Jericho defended the title against Kevin Owens, with the caveat that AJ Styles is banned from ringside because at the top of the show, Kevin Owens told AJ Styles to get out of his ring, and of course AJ Styles did and started attacking Kevin Owens. So Shane McMahon forced his hand and banned AJ Styles from ringside. And there was a tag team match between Carmella and Natalya as they took on the SmackDown Women's Champion Naomi and Charlotte Flair. Yes, Charlotte Flair. Honestly, I think we may see a change in Charlotte Flair, because when she was on Raw, everyone just hated her. I mean, it was crazy. But now that she's on SmackDown, I think it's safe to say that she might turn. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, and then there was a and then of course the United States Championship match. Kevin Owens regained the United States Championship, and then put Jericho on the shelf. Yes, after the match, Kevin Owens just kept attacking Chris Jericho, using the steel chair and whatnot, and my sources have told me that Chris Jericho will be out for quite a while, for two reasons: that for the injury, and also because Chris Jericho is going to be going on tour with his band Fozzy. And speaking of Fozzy, their new hit single Judas will be the official, from what I know, will be the official theme song for NXT TakeOver Chicago. Yes, that is correct. NXT TakeOver Chicago will take place the night before Backlash, which will take place inside the same arena, the Allstate Arena. And one of the matches that we have on the card for NXT TakeOver Chicago is Asuka will be defending the NXT Women's Championship in a fatal 4-way match. Again, as I said before, I don't really watch NXT, but yeah, I think it's safe to say that Asuka's chances of being the longest reigning women's champion in history are now numbered. I think it's safe to say. And yeah, and then of course on 205 Live there was a interview with the Brian Kendrick, interviewed by one Corey Graves, and all he did was just talk about Akira Tozawa. So yeah, again, I don't really watch 205 Live, and I don't really watch NXT. So yeah, well, that is the video. That is this week in WWE. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and remember to post comments below, and remember to subscribe and bell me for more WWE and YuGiOh opening videos. Also, before I forget, sometime next week or this weekend, I'm going to be posting my Legendary Collection for Joey's World opening, and there I'm going to be explaining the rules of the summer giveaway and the fan mail videos that I will be doing. So stay tuned for that. And on that, this is your boy Nick here signing out.